Mindfulness Project family, it is Advent calendar time. Today is the 8th of December and we're still in the week of compassion, the divine mind state of compassion. And Anya talked about it yesterday, so beautiful, and I would like to tell you a little bit a story. So you can, lean back again, you make yourself really comfortable, make yourself a tea, light a candle, and this Advent calendar is our gift to you, and it's always a nice way to make yourself a gift, to really make time in your daily life to enjoy, to just be nice to yourself. So these little stories is maybe a little bit of motivation to have this 10-minute of infusion and wisdom and heart opening in your day. So this is for you. So this is a story from Japan, and I don't know if I spell the name right. It's Japanese, so I should just get this German nism into my voice again. So this is Master Bankai Yotaku story. So when Bankai held his seclusion weeks of meditation, pupils from many parts of Japan came to attend. Once during such gathering, a man was caught stealing. The whole incident was reported to Bankai, but after hearing the case, Bankai didn't take any action and ignored the incident. Just after one day of the previous theft, the same man was caught stealing again. This time, other people who were attending the gathering demanding his expulsion from gathering. Even this time, Bankai didn't take any action against him. Later that day, people they drew a petition asking for dismissal of the thief, or otherwise they will all leave the seclusion. When Bankai read the petition, he called everyone before him and said, "You are wise, brothers. You know what is right and what is wrong. You may go somewhere else to study if you wish, but this poor brother doesn't even know right from wrong. Who will teach him if I don't? I'm not going to ask him to leave. I'm going to keep him here, even if it means that all the rest of you leave." The man who was caught stealing was also present there, and after listening to Bankai, torrent of tears came down, and all his desire to steal was vanished. Yeah, nice Japanese Zen story. And what I love so much about this story is because it has many aspects to it, which is important when you contemplate about compassion. Because for me personally, compassion is a game changer. Especially in my relationship, or any relationship I have, I realize that I have always the chance to judge or to have compassion for this person. And so many times, in my relationship, my mind goes to the place, oh, Anya shouldn't do that, and why she's doing this, and this is obviously, terrible for other people, and la la la. But instead of looking at it as something negative, you could look at it with compassion and see that it's actually, nobody's doing anything because he or she is a bad person. Of course we have all our greed, our ego, our wantings, there is, a lot of, in us humans which are, hurting other people. But nobody does it on purpose, because most of the time, I would say 99.9% of the time, not 100% of the time, but 99.9%, there is an own suffering behind it. So if you go to court, the judge first tries to find out, what makes you the person who is committing a crime. So, our whole judge system is based on compassion, basically. And I can see, whenever my heart is open and I can really be in a compassionate way with somebody else, there is no fighting. And the key ingredient for that, to have compassion, is again to get away from the me, mine, and ego. If I'm stuck in this, what does this behavior of my partner, of my friend, means to me? When I look at my own suffering of that behavior, of course, then we get into aversion. But if we are just getting away from me to, where's the suffering in this person? Why is this person, behaving so difficult? Then you probably find out the story behind it, and then your heart can open to that, and then you can work with it. So in my relationship, whenever we find the root cause of our behavior, so then we can just really understand the other person, and then we can react in a totally different way. So it's a game changer. Another thing which is really important about compassion is compassion is something else than pity. So if you see somebody, a beggar on the street, and you really feel like, oh, this poor person, let me help you. That's pity. It's you're up, this person is down, and it's most of the time just feeding your ego. When you help a friend, just out of this wish to be seen as good and as helpful, it's really a trap. I find myself a lot of times helping out of ego. And it's really important to distinguish the divine state of compassion, where your heart is open, where you just really see the other person and not yourself, instead of being pity or looking down at other people. And there is something else in this story of this Japanese master. Because he's not telling other people to stay in the situation, so to endure that this person is stealing and stealing again, and you just have to be, Buddhist, and you have to be fine with it. No, that's not the point. The point is you are allowed to, protect yourself. So if we talk about compassion, you also need to be compassionate with yourself. If you don't want somebody else to continuously steal from you, then you need to make a clear line, which also is compassion. If you have kids, they need clear boundaries. So that can also come out of compassion. But if you set boundaries because you think you are the person who is ruling here in the household or something like this, then it's again ego. So always have a look, is it compassion or is it ego? If it's ego, then just run away. But don't think compassion means that you always have to understand everybody and to keep going with this behavior. If you are on the mind state of this Zen master, then it's probably pretty easy. If there's nothing somebody can steal from you, if your mind is already so clear, then it's easy. But even the Buddha was constructing monasteries so that you can keep a certain energy out of a monastery because it's not helpful for your development. Yeah, so that is very, very important. And another part of compassion is really self-compassion, and that is exactly what I was talking about on the outside. It's the same process inside. You have always a chance to judge yourself for the behavior you don't like in yourself. Or you can be with compassion, that you can say, hey, there's a reason why I behave like that. There's a suffering here, and this suffering needs to be addressed. So, and the thing is not that you, with compassion, you excuse yourself, to just behave like you want and excuse your egoistic or narcissistic tendencies. Not like that. But the process is you acknowledge what you're doing, you don't judge yourself for being a bad person, a narcissistic person, an egoistic person, because we all are to a certain extent. But if you just judge yourself, then you make things worse. But if you just, see that there's a reason why you're so sensitive, why you a lot of times have the feeling, I need to protect myself against these kind of things, then you can understand yourself. And out of this understanding comes a self-love, that the next step is that you completely 100% accept yourself, how you are in this moment. And then with this energy, the change will come on its own. Like in this story, when the Zen master was meeting this thief with so much compassion, it just opens his heart, and the desire to steal something from other people vanishes. And that is the incredible power of compassion, and it has to do with your self-worth, with your knowing that you are whole and that nothing can ever be taken from you. And so this is what we should thrive for, not an idealistic idea of what compassion is, and that you should endure everything that leads you into the complete opposite direction, but a grown-up, filled up energy where you can give, where you can share, where you can love other people. And that's what we need to do with each other. So have a look around. In our difficult times right now, there are so many people who need our compassion, who need our love, who need our attention. So let us use these teachings to make this world a tiny little bit better. To just achieve what we would like to live, to create a world which is more kind and more compassionate. Love you all. Thank you all for your understanding, your compassion, and your support for the Mindfulness Project. We love you so much.